There are a lot of suspicious birds out here. Birds are spinning off all kinds of suspicious clues. How many are you catching? We're going to identify some suspicious birds. Come on. The game's afoot. Index of suspicion. I first heard that term from a veterinarian friend of mine. It's the process that healthcare providers go through when they're presented with a list of symptoms and they try to figure out what the cause is. You have a list of things you're suspicious about, starting from the most suspicious down to the least. Your index of suspicion. There are roughly 760 breeding birds in North America. If you see a bird you can't identify, you'd better suspect something, or you're going to have to go through all 760 to figure it out. And you'll miss lunch. Most birds are identified through sight and sound. That's size, shape, color, field marks, plus songs and call notes. Let me put another trick up your sleeve. Identifying birds by their actions. You probably don't even realize it when you're doing it, but when you see a bird you can't immediately identify, the process you go through next is trying to figure out what it isn't. Let's say you see a small unidentified bird about the size of a sparrow. Right away, you know it's not a crow, it's not a vulture, it's not a common loon. Turkey? Nope. Crow? Nope. Roadrunner? Nope. With the speed of a computer, your brain is starting to sort these into piles of what it could be and can't be. Well done, brain. You keep sorting until you get down to one. And if it's a roseate spoonbill, it doesn't take long to sort down to one. The bigger birds sort out a little quicker. It's the little ones that can be real twerps. They're a little harder to sort out. So let's go right to the hard ones, the little ones. If they're going to be tricky, I'm going to be tricky. Birds are designed to do three things: eat, don't be eaten, and make babies. It all comes down to you are what you eat. If all birds ate the same thing, if they all foraged the same thing, if they all behaved exactly the same, one species would outcompete all the others until we just had one bird left. But it doesn't work that way. They all specialize in niches, and we group those into families. So once you figure out what family a bird is in, you're way down from 760 possibilities. If I see a small bird on the ground, I automatically think sparrow, because that's what sparrows do. And that includes the juncos. Juncos are in the sparrow family. Now the ground is going to vary by species. It could be forest, it could be mud flats, it could be marsh, it could be fields. If it's on the ground and it's smaller than a thrush, it's almost always a sparrow. But not always. Warblers, they'll get down on the ground a little bit. They don't like to forage down there, so you don't see it much. Well, palm warbler does it quite a bit. Ovenbird nests on the ground and forages on the ground, but those are more exceptions. Usually, hey look, it's going to be a sparrow until proven otherwise. I mean, it's not foolproof. This Blackburnian warbler likes to be at the top of the tree, but it discovered out in the woods that if there's a parking lot with cars in it, there are bugs stuck to the bumper. He comes right down and forages on it. Bright bird. Wrens forage above the ground, but not very far above the ground. They're energetic little fuss budgets, every one of them. House wrens and Carolina wrens will stare you right in the eye and then just ignore you, go right about their business. Rock wrens, canyon wrens, cactus wrens also forage mostly close to the ground. They will pop up to sing, but close to the ground for foraging. Marsh wrens, sedge wrens, really low, just at the top of the vegetation out in the marsh or wetland. Winter wrens, Pacific wrens, again, foraging close to the forest floor, and they're just hyperactive, energetic little fuss budgets. Now, there is one exception to this rule about being low. For wrens and really a lot of other songbirds, when they sing, they'll perch up somewhere where they can be heard. They need to broadcast their song when they're on territory or attracting mates, so they'll be high. Winter wren, usually low, singing. Some tiny birds can be a little bit shy. You kind of have to sneak up on them. Kinglets are tiny little birds. Hyperactive, usually midway up in the canopy, not usually at the top unless they're singing. They are hyperactive gleaners. Both golden-crowned and ruby-crowned kinglet, hopping around from twig to twig, branch to branch, flying here, flying there, twitching their wings, gleaning like crazy. They're really good at finding those little caterpillars, those little spiders, as they go from twig to twig. They move so constantly, it's really kind of hard to get a photo of them, let alone a video. But they tend to be very noisy, so I hear them 95% of the time before I see them. Chickadees and titmice are also hyperactive gleaners, and they're really good at even hanging upside down to grab whatever it is they're after. It doesn't matter which species of chickadee or titmouse it is, and there are multiple species of both in North America. They're all hyperactive gleaners, and they're not really all that concerned about people. Some of them can even feed out of your hand, or at least get really close to you while they're chowing down. I have got to get this pole fixed before winter. Nuthatches and creepers are also hyperactive feeders. And nuthatches are the only birds in North America that will walk head first down a tree. Honestly, I don't know if pygmy nuthatches out west do the head first down the tree thing. Last one I saw was in Oregon, and it had found something on the ground. I still don't know what it was after. Interestingly, nuthatches do that wing flick thing, especially the red-breasted nuthatches. If you disturb them, they just may tell you to flick off. Gnatcatchers, also hyperactive gleaners. In fact, they almost never slow down for anything. Look. They're so hyperactive, they almost never stay in one place. Almost never stay in one place. Yeah, no doubt about it, this blue-gray gnatcatcher wants to star in a movie. In western North America, you might put wren tits and verdins into this hyperactive gleaning category. Really, that's the clue for all these hyperactive gleaners. They're hyperactive gleaners. It's a big group. All right, let's sneak up on some warblers. Warblers are gleaners too, but they're not as energetic as some of the other little ones. They sort of poke around the branches and the leaves up there until they find what they want. And there's a lot of them. There are 56 species of wood warblers in North America, and nearly half of them live right near me. Although warblers can sit in a branch, fly out, snatch a bug out of the air, they mostly don't. Although they can fly down to the ground, grab a bug off the grass, they mostly don't. So if I see a slow, methodical gleaner up in the leaves, I suspect a warbler. And they give off a lot of other clues besides visual and audible. Sometimes behavior characteristics like the palm warblers, only warbler that bobs its tail. Northern water thrush, well, you can consider this bobbing, not, but okay, northern water thrush, maybe. Some warblers tend to be high up in the canopy. A pine warbler, Blackburnian warbler, black-throated green warbler, a northern parula. Some warblers are mid-level in the canopy. Nashville, American redstart, black and white warbler, mid-level of the canopy. Some warblers are low in the canopy. Common yellowthroat, Wilson's warbler, mourning warbler, ovenbird. Now these aren't hard and fast rules, these are just clues. But you gather enough clues together and you reduce your index of suspicion really quickly, and it becomes a habit, you don't even really think about it. Vireos are slow gleaners. Vireos are just a touch bigger than warblers, but behave much the same way. They seldom fly out to grab a bug. They can do it, but they don't. But the difference between warblers and vireos is the little hook tip on the bill of a vireo. They can use that to pry open hard stuff like a beetle that warblers would struggle with. They give off a lot of identity clues, especially location. Red-eyed vireos, like it, relatively mature and deciduous. Blue-headed vireos, they can take a little more conifers, maybe a little less mature growth, but frankly, they can both be in the same tree. And where I am, they are universally everywhere. Yellow-throated vireos, they really like it deciduous, very deciduous, and maybe a trifle wet, so they're really only in southern Maine. Philadelphia vireo likes it very coniferous, and they're only in northern Maine. Warbling vireos really like it deciduous and preferably around water here. Frankly, Maine doesn't have as many as most other states do. I'm impressed by how many there are elsewhere. Flycatcher. If it sits in a branch, flies out to grab a bug, comes right back to the same branch, and especially if it does it multiple times, it is invariably a flycatcher. If it bobs its tail, it's an eastern phoebe, except in the west where it's a black phoebe or a Say's phoebe. They do it too. Swallows and swifts, everything is aerial acrobatics. Everything is caught in the air. No foraging, no gleaning for them. On the wing, that's their food. There's no confusing swallows and swifts. Swifts look like flying cigars with what looks like alternating wing beats. They're not, but that's what it looks like. So yeah, identifying birds by sight and sound is still going to be critically important. But once you figure out what is it they're doing, you can build your index of suspicion so much faster. For instance, blue-gray gnatcatchers never stop moving, except this one.